You're a business owner and you want your employee working more efficiently and they need to be healthy. Are you with me on it? And if you are, stick around because we have an expert who will be having the conversation around the same topic. Uh, Please welcome Wellbeing Strategist, Michelle Dickinson. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Michelle, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I think it's a series of things that happen. So first and foremost, I grew up with a mother who had bipolar disorder, and that experience shaped me because I cared for her for a large part of my childhood. And then I gave a TED talk about that experience, probably some 30 years later, and then got very connected to the topic and wrote my own memoir, Breaking Into My Life. And then I dealt with my own depression. So those three incidents really did shape my passion to want to do more for people who were struggling and suffering in silence.
What are top three mistakes to avoid?
You know, that's a really great question. I love your questions, by the way. I would say thinking that you could figure it all out on your own. I think we all need a coach, or we need someone to help us who has gone where we want to go. So I think not surrounding myself with people who I could look up to. The second mistake is listening to people in industries that have nothing to do with mine. And the fourth is not making my mindset a priority.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
I think, when I think about failure, I feel like failure has such a negative connotation to it. And failure is just really an opportunity to do better. So I don't necessarily I think opportunity is a little bit better for me when I think about the word failure. So I had a very interesting thing happen to me. I had two incidents that happened in the same week. I got divorced and I lost my job. So those two experiences impacted me within a 7-day window. So what did I learn from those two things is no matter how bad it is, you can find a way out. So really surrounding yourself with people who are supportive and also taking the time to go within and find out what direction you want to go in. So I think for me, it was moving forward, even though some days it felt like I was moving at a snail's pace, I was still moving forward. Forward is forward.
What are top three success secrets that others can follow?
So I sort of alluded to that within the failures, because this is what I've realized now more than ever. I've been an entrepreneur for 2 years now, and coming from a corporate environment, it's like walking on another planet. So I would say the top three success secrets for me is having a coach or someone who has realized entrepreneur success that you can look up to. Surrounding yourself with people who are also entrepreneurs trying to do their thing, instead of surrounding yourself with people from a corporate environment who really just have no idea what you're up to and why you do what you do. And the third would be your mindset, feeding your mind positive things, feeding your mind things that are going to have you grow and expand and also keep you in a positive disposition. Because if we get into our head and it's a negative space, we can go down a negative vortex and it can really take us off our path.
What is the most impactful business book you read and what did you learn from it?
So this is the book. It's called Ready, Fire, Aim, and it's by Michael Masterson. It's an amazing book. My coach told me to read it, and I loved it because the author is genius. He breaks down businesses into 4 stages, and has you really looking at what stage is my business in, and then you understand sort of what the challenges are for each stage. But as you could see, the title of the book is Ready, Fire, Aim. So I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs want to think about something, make it better before we fire. And the idea of this is fire, learn from the fire, come back, regroup, but don't sit there and think you can't move forward into action because you don't have it perfect. So I loved that whole essence of sometimes you just have to fire and see what happens.
What do you want to be remembered for?
So that's a great question. That's like a deep question, Mohammed. What are you trying to do? Make me emotional? I would say, what do I want to be remembered for? I want to be the woman that was courageous to get people to think about what they can do to be more compassionate. We are such a results-driven, KPI-driven world where everyone has to be competitive, and what gets lost in the mix is the humanity, the connection, the empathy, and the compassion for one another. And so I want to be that one that's known for, yes, I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. We are human beings before we are employees. We need to be more compassionate, and we need to find the compassion for ourselves first so that we can extend it to others.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Oh, this is a weekly occurrence, I would say. I think it's a well-being practice. I promote well-being in the work that I do, so I would be a fake if I didn't practice what I preach. So it's the meditation, it's the making time for exercise, it's making time to visualize. It's doing those things that make me feel grounded, that help me be able to deal with whatever is coming at me.
Once you have a revenue-generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
There is no significant other. It's really convincing myself. I think, for me, it's sometimes it's convincing myself to execute, right? I think I have an idea, and it's all about the ready, fire, aim concept. Get out of your way and execute.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
Oh, that's great. I love it. I won't tell you how old I am. I think I'm grown up. What do I want to do when I grow up? Oh, Lord, live on an island somewhere and drink Mai Tais and basket weave. I don't know. Something like that. Something fun.
Who is your living mentor, and what is the impact they have on you?
So this was a great question, and it actually stopped me because I feel like I have a collection of mentors. I don't necessarily have one. I think when I was younger, I had one or two that I focused on, but now I am surrounded by a wealth of people who genuinely want to see me succeed. So I have a few. I guess I would start with my coach first and foremost, the coach who's been sort of by my side for the past 6 months, helping me, guiding me, challenging me. So that would probably be the first person I think of. That would be Kurt. And then I have a mastermind community that I'm a part of. So I'd say the folks in there, my loved ones, my family, my close friends who pick me up when I'm feeling down. So I think that it's a collection of support versus just one individual mentor.
Thank you. Can I interview your mentor, Kurt?
Oh, sure. Well, sure. He's amazing, for sure.
Wonderful. So I would ask the introduction towards the end.
Sure.
And what are you grateful for today?
I would say my health and my well-being, how far I've come. I think it's so easy as an entrepreneur to think about the mountain ahead of you that you haven't yet conquered. But if we don't pause and reflect on how far up we've already come, I think that's a mistake. So for me, it's like recognizing just how far I've come since leaving a very secure corporate environment to creating something that I'm passionate about and making a difference in people's lives.
Why is being impactful important to you?
So that's a great question. I think it's because of the suffering that I witnessed with my mom. For anyone who has a loved one with a mental illness, it can be extremely hard to love them and care for them. My mother, it was really challenging. So I think watching her suffer and knowing that she was embarrassed and ashamed and isolated because of her illness, and then my experience dealing with depression, not being able to get out of bed, feeling just really low and alone, I think that that's why I want to make an impact, because I don't think anyone should suffer in silence and isolation or be ashamed of having any type of a mental health imbalance.
How do you start your day?
Okay, so this is a good one. So morning routine typically includes exercise, walking. I walk my puppies, meditation, visualization. I have a gratitude journal that I do called the 5-minute journal. It's actually in my phone. It takes 5 minutes to enter the things I'm grateful for, so I do that. Those are really the things that I do to really start my day. Try to get up as early as I can. Sometimes it's hard, but I know I feel better when I get up extra early.
Who is your ideal client?
I would say a business leader, an organizational leader, or an HR leader who genuinely understands that the COVID-19 pandemic has significantly impacted everyone's well-being, mental health, emotional well-being, and wants to do good and better by their people so that they're healthy. So my clients I work with now are HR leaders. They understand and they care about their people.
What is the advice you would want to give younger yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, it's have confidence in your abilities, start where you are and adjust. I think, when you're younger, you might, like for me, at least, I'll just speak for myself. I didn't have a lot of confidence that I had the abilities to do what I wanted to do, so I didn't do it. I think we need to have more confidence that we can at least try and have a mentor to help us, but don't do nothing. Just at least try.
What would you say about your guest experience on the show?
I thought it was great. I love Streamyard. You seem wonderful. You have very well thought out questions, so thank you for having me.
How can we support you?
Sure. My website is careforyourpeople.com. I am looking for organizations that want to do a little bit more for their people. The biggest barrier we have right now is we have 1 in 3 Americans currently dealing with depression or anxiety because of the pandemic. 1 in 3. And when you look at that number, it's alarming. The challenge we have is a lot of people are ashamed or embarrassed to reach out for care. So employee assistance programs organizations have, benefits programs they have, employees aren't reaching out to them for support. And so that's where I come in, and I really want to help people be comfortable talking about their mental and emotional well-being so they feel comfortable reaching out and getting support before they hit crisis or become disengaged in their life or in their job.
What would you say as a final word?
Don't assume that everybody around you is okay. Always take a minute and reach out and ask people that you care about how they're doing. It can be so little to ask someone, how are you doing? But it can make a big difference for them. They might have nobody else asking them how they're doing.
Thank you, Michelle, for your time and wisdom. And on the behalf of Entrepreneur Empowerment Club and this entire team, really appreciate you. And hope our paths across again with another amazing guest. Until then, be legendary.
Thank you.